My name is Rachel, and I'm 32 years old. It was 11:17 p.m. on a Thursday when my phone rang. The number on the screen said Marcus Chen, my husband's best friend since college. The man who'd been best man at our wedding 7 years ago. I almost didn't answer. Marcus and I didn't talk anymore. Not really. Not since the wedding, if I'm being honest. There was always this awkwardness between us, this unspoken tension that neither of us acknowledged but both of us felt. But something made me pick up. Maybe it was the late hour. Maybe it was the way the phone kept ringing, insistent, like whoever was calling needed me to answer. Hello? Rachel. His voice was rough, slurred slightly. He'd been drinking. I need to tell you something. I sat up straight on the couch, muting the TV. My husband Jake was working late again. Another late night at the office. Another evening alone in our too quiet house. Marcus, are you okay? No. He laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. I haven't been okay for 7 years. Not since your wedding. My chest tightened. The wedding. The objection. Marcus. I should have said it then, he interrupted. When the priest asked if anyone objected, I stood up. I opened my mouth. And I chickened out. I remembered that moment with painful clarity. The church full of people. The priest's voice echoing off stone walls. If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace. And Marcus had stood up. The entire church had gone silent. I'd turned in my white dress, bouquet trembling in my hands, and looked at Jake's best friend standing in the front row. His face had been pale, his fists clenched. Everyone had held their breath. Then Marcus had laughed nervously and said, "Just kidding." Couldn't resist. And he'd sat back down. The church had erupted in uncomfortable laughter. My mother-in-law had looked scandalized. Jake had shaken his head like it was a stupid prank. But I'd seen Marcus's face in that moment before he laughed. I'd seen something real, something urgent. And then it was gone, and would finish the ceremony, and I'd married Jake anyway. Why are you calling me about this now? I asked quietly. Because I can't watch you waste another day, Marcus said. I can't keep this secret anymore. It's eating me alive, Rachel. You deserve to know the truth. What truth? About Jake. About who he really is. About what he's been doing. The room suddenly felt very cold. I don't understand. Marcus took a shaky breath. The night before your wedding, Jake and I went out for drinks. Just the two of us. Bachelor party was over. Everyone else had gone home. And he got drunk. Really drunk. And he told me something. I waited. Phone pressed so hard against my ear it hurt. He told me he was having an affair. That he'd been seeing someone else for 6 months. That he loved her, not you. But he was going through with the wedding anyway because your families expected it, because the deposits were paid, because it was easier than calling it off. The words didn't make sense at first. My brain couldn't process them. That's not possible, I said. We've been married for 7 years. If he didn't love me, he wouldn't have. He told me her name, Marcus continued, his voice breaking. He told me it was Jessica, your bridesmaid, your college roommate. Jessica, my best friend from college, the woman who'd helped me pick out my wedding dress, who'd thrown my bridal shower, who'd stood next to me at the altar in a lavender dress and cried during the vows. No, I whispered. He told me it started at your engagement party. They'd had too much champagne. It just happened, he said. And then it kept happening. Tuesday afternoons when you thought he was at the gym. Weekend business trips that weren't really business. I thought about all those Tuesday afternoons. All those weekend trips. 7 years of Tuesdays. 7 years of trips. That's why you stood up, I said slowly. At the wedding. You were going to tell everyone. I was going to stop it, Marcus said. I was going to object for real. Tell everyone what Jake had told me. But then I looked at your face, Rachel. You looked so happy. And I thought, what if I'm wrong? What if Jake was just drunk and talking nonsense? What if I ruin your life over nothing? So you sat back down. I sat back down. And I've regretted it every single day since. I stood up and walked to the window. Our street was quiet. Houses dark except for porch lights. Somewhere a dog barked. Normal sounds from a normal neighborhood. But nothing felt normal anymore. Why are you telling me this now? I asked. Because I saw her today, Jessica, at a coffee shop downtown, and she was with Jake. The room spun slightly. They were sitting in a corner booth, holding hands. Jake was playing with her hair, and I realized they never stopped. That for 7 years, while you've been building a life with him, has been living another life with her. I closed my eyes, tried to breathe, couldn't. I confronted him, Marcus continued. After Jessica left, I sat down at his table and I told him I was done keeping his secret, that I should have stopped the wedding 7 years ago, and I wasn't going to stay quiet anymore. What did he say? He told me to mind my own business, that what happened between you two was between you two, that I'd already made my choice at the wedding when I sat back down. He's right, I said quietly. You did make a choice. I know, and I'm trying to fix it now. I'm trying to give you the information I should have given you 7 years ago. I looked at my wedding photo on the mantel, Jake and me, faces pressed together, smiling like we'd won something. How do I know you're telling the truth? I asked. How do I know this isn't just, I don't know, jealousy or something? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Jake keeps a separate phone, he finally said. A black iPhone in a drawer of his desk at work. Check his call logs. Check his text messages. Her name is saved as James in his contacts. He thinks he's being clever. My husband worked from home twice a week. His home office was upstairs. I have to go, I said. Rachel. Thank you for telling me. I have to go. I hung up before he could say anything else. For a long time, I just stood there in the dark living room, phone in my hand, trying to decide if I was going to walk upstairs to Jake's office or pretend this conversation never happened. Pretending would be easier. Pretending would mean I could go to bed, wake up tomorrow, continue living the life I thought I had. But I'd already spent 7 years pretending not to wonder about Marcus's objection. 7 years pushing down that small voice that asked why my husband's best friend had stood up at our wedding. I couldn't pretend anymore. I walked upstairs. Jake's office was neat, organized. Desk clear except for his laptop and a desk lamp. I opened the top drawer. Pens, paper clips, post-it notes. The second drawer. Files, tax documents, insurance papers. The third drawer. And there it was. A black iPhone, slightly older model, charging cable wrapped around it. I picked it up with shaking hands. Turned it on. No passcode. Jake had been so confident no one would ever look. The phone opened to a text conversation. Contact name, James. But the messages weren't to any James the first knew. Missing you already. Tuesday can't come fast enough. Book the hotel in Seattle for next weekend. Same place as last time. I love you. 7 years and I still love you like the first day. 7 years. The messages went back 7 years. I scrolled up, and up, and up. Messages from our wedding day. I wish I was marrying you instead. Soon. Just a few more years and we'll figure it out. Messages from our honeymoon. While I was sending Jake photos of the beach in Maui, he was texting Jessica. Can't wait to be home with you. Messages from the day we bought this house. She's so excited about the house. I feel like such a fraud. Messages from last month. Last week. Yesterday. Tuesday afternoons. Weekend trips. 7 years of lies. All documented in a black iPhone in a desk drawer. I heard the front door open downstairs. Ratch? I'm home. Jake's voice. Cheerful. Normal. I looked at the phone in my hands. Looked at 7 years of evidence. 7 years of a marriage that was never real. And I made a decision. I walked downstairs with the phone. Jake was in the kitchen, loosening his tie, opening the refrigerator. Hey babe. Sorry I'm late. The meeting ran long and then. He stopped when he saw what I was holding. His face went white. Rachel. Marcus called me tonight, I said calmly. He told me about the conversation you had the night before our wedding. About Jessica. About the affair. Jake opened his mouth. Closed it. I didn't believe him at first, I continued. I thought maybe he was mistaken. Maybe drunk. Maybe jealous. So I came up to your office to prove him wrong. I held up the phone. But he wasn't wrong, was he? Rachel, listen. 7 years, I said. My voice was steady but my hands were shaking. 7 years you've been lying to me. 7 years you've had a whole separate relationship while I thought we were building a life together. It's complicated. Is it? I pulled up a text message at random. Read it out loud. Can't wait for our trip to Portland next month. Going to tell Rachel it's a sales conference. When was this? That was 3 months ago. You went to Portland 3 months ago. Stayed at the Marriott downtown. Called me every night. Told me about boring client meetings. I scrolled to another message. Snuck out during Rachel's birthday party to text you. I'd rather be with you. My birthday party. Last year. You disappeared for 20 minutes. Said you had an important work call. Jake's jaw was tight. You're going through my private messages. Your private messages. I laughed, and it came out harsh. Your private messages with my best friend? Your private messages that prove you've been cheating on me for our entire marriage. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me, Jake. Make it simple. He ran his hands through his hair, a gesture I'd seen 1,000 times. A gesture I thought I knew. I was going to end it, he finally said. Before the wedding, I was going to call everything off. But then everyone was so excited, and your parents had paid for everything, and I thought maybe if I just went through with it, the feelings for Jessica would fade. Did they fade? No. The word hung in the air between us. Why did you stay married to me? I asked. Because I do love you, Rachel. Just differently. I love the life we built. I love our home. I love the version of myself I am when I'm with you. But you love her more. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Does she know? I asked. Does Jessica know you're never going to leave me for her? She knows the situation. The situation. I nodded. Is that what I am? A situation? That's not what I meant. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of this house. Tonight. Now. Take whatever you need and leave. Rachel, we need to talk about this. We needed to talk about this 7 years ago. My voice cracked. We needed to talk about it the night before our wedding when you told Marcus you were having an affair. We needed to talk about it every single Tuesday for 7 years. We needed to talk about it before I wasted the best years of my life on a marriage that was never real. Jake took a step toward me. Please. Don't. I stepped back. Don't come near me. Don't touch me. Don't tell me you love me. Just leave. Where am I supposed to go? I looked at the phone in my hands. At 7 years of messages to another woman. I don't know, Jake. Maybe ask Jessica. I'm sure she has room. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly, went upstairs, and I heard him moving around in our bedroom, packing. I sat down at the kitchen table and called Marcus back. Rachel. You were right, I said, about everything. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. You tried to stop it 7 years ago. You tried to save me from this. I should have tried harder. Maybe. Or maybe I needed to live through these 7 years to understand what I was really choosing. Maybe I needed to see all the evidence before I'd believe it. Marcus was quiet. He's packing right now, I said. He'll be gone in 20 minutes. And tomorrow I'm calling a divorce attorney. What can I do? You already did it. You told me the truth. Finally. I heard Jake's footsteps on the stairs. Heard the front door open and close. Heard his car start in the driveway and pull away. 7 years of marriage. Ended in 20 minutes. Rachel. Marcus's voice pulled me back. Are you going to be okay? I looked around the kitchen. At the house I'd thought was ours. At the life I'd thought we were building. Eventually, I said. Not tonight. Maybe not for a while. But eventually. If you need anything. I know. Thank you, Marcus, for finally saying what you should have said at the wedding. After we hung up, I sat in the quiet house and thought about that moment in the church. Marcus standing up, everyone holding their breath, the objection that never came. And I thought about how different my life might have been if he'd said the words out loud. If he'd stopped the wedding. If I'd never married Jake. But maybe I needed these 7 years. Maybe I needed to live through the lie to appreciate the truth. Or maybe that's just what I tell myself to make sense of the waste. Either way, tomorrow I start over. Tomorrow I become the version of myself I would have been if I'd listened to that objection 7 years ago. Better late than never. Even if it's 7 years late. Epilogue. It's been 6 months since that phone call. 6 months since Jake left. The divorce was finalized last month. He didn't fight it. Couldn't. Really. Not with 7 years of evidence in that black iPhone. Jessica moved to another state. I haven't spoken to her. Don't plan to. Marcus and I are friends again. Real friends. For the first time since my wedding. He apologized 100 times for not speaking up that day. I told him to stop apologizing. We both made choices we regret. The difference is, I'm making better choices now. Last week, I went on a first date. Nothing serious, just coffee. But it felt good to sit across from someone and know there were no secrets. No separate phones. No Tuesdays with someone else. And when the guy asked me about my last relationship, I told him the truth. My husband's best friend objected at our wedding. I should have listened. The guy nodded. You listen now, though. I smiled. Now I listen. Because that's what 7 years teaches you. That objections matter. That truth matters. That the voice trying to warn you deserves to be heard. Even if it takes 7 years to finally listen. My name is Rachel. I'm 32 years old. And I'm learning to trust the objections.